Alright, this is 7th Ace, and I'm going to roll at you with a bit of a cartography info tutorial kind of video. So, cartography is the system we're using for casting, made by Forecourt Jester, and it basically just grants us a whole bunch of extra features and abilities when we stream. Additionally, it also allows for production teams to operate a broadcast instead of just the casters, so we can distribute the workload over a whole bunch of people. So each person has to work a little less hard and it's less overwhelming, and everything's just a little bit easier. So instead of casters having to do the lobby and the scenes and making sure everything's set up properly and then changing when the game loads in and all that kind of stuff, we have a team do that. Don't have to worry about anything. So let's get into the setup of cartography. So I'm going to switch quickly over to my OBS setup scene. So this is the exact same thing we just saw, but in OBS. So over here on the scenes side, we have NGS, AFK, webcams, draft, game, post, and those correspond to the 5 scenes we have currently in cartography, which is pictured in the bottom right. Cartography will control all of these scenes, so you never have to switch them, and they must be named exactly that, possibly with caps. I haven't tested it. To make it work. So when you change scene in cartography, it will look in your OBS to see which what scenes you have and then switch to the appropriate one. So let's go ahead and get back to what cartography can control. So over here, we do have my mouse cursor being captured, so you can see what I do. We can change all the information about the game. So if I want to change 2+2 to Victoria's Secret, edit the Heroic Division, we are in we'll be in week 5 next week, so let's go ahead and update that. We can change the maps here, so they'll play on Hanamura. Actually, let's not put them there. Sky Temple and Volskaya. We can update the schedule. We come over here and hit our save button, and everything's good, and it says NGS schedule for Heroic has been saved. Notice on screen, we now have the ticker, which is partially covered, showing Heroic Division matches. So this update schedule button matches with what's here, and that lets us know what's going on. We can go over to the casters here. Crow is the last one to use it. Edit that into 7th Ace. Hit that big old save button. And now we can see how this actually works in-game. It's a little mad at 2+2, so we'll change that. There we go. Cool. So now over here is our scene control panel. So whenever we click here, it will change your scene in OBS. This means you do not change scenes in OBS ever. So if I hit webcams, I don't have any webcams, but this is a scene I can use. If I go to draft, I have a hero's game capture in the background, cartography, and just for this demo video, my Chrome cartography. So it looks just like this. Your entire overlay is 2 layers. One is a hero's game capture, and the other is a web browser source of cartography. It's really easy to set up, as shown in this slide here. Notice the sources. I have the BRB image, cartography, and my Chrome cartography, which is just for this video. So you only need 2 of these sources. As a note, you do not change scenes through OBS. This means that if you have extra scenes you don't that aren't on cartography, for example, my bonus scene, you have to change that manually, and then cartography will not update. Cartography only knows to update its overlays when you change it on the web. So when I go to gameplay, we can see all of our settings are in. So we have Sky Temple, Volskaya Foundry shown at the top here. I guess I could tab to Heroes and get it to show up. We have the little game and team overlays with their logos automatically populated, and the caster at the bottom left will be popped in for about 20 to 25 seconds. And if you have 2 casters, a second one will show up as well. So that's a lot of what its in-game functions do. And notice we also have a post-game scene which has the ticker. When the gameplay scene comes in, everything slides in. We have the ability to create animations, do all sorts of crazy stuff with cartography that's not easily available in basic OBS. So we really want to be able to help with this. Additionally, because cartography is on the web, someone else can come in, anyone with permission can come in and change the scenes in OBS. So that means that ties into everything I was talking about earlier, where we have teams that can work it. So you have somebody working scenes, they're monitoring the match. You have someone working the text, so you could have somebody modifying text real time to update about stats, which we plan to do. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff like that, so it's really, really helpful and allows us to distribute the workload and create higher production broadcasts. That's really the main gist of cartography. This is not the final form of it by any means. We're going to continue updating it with additional features and additional tools to make it suit the needs of every broadcaster. We can add more screens like we can improve the AFK starting screen or add more. We can make sure all the webcams work, which you would have, for example, Crow's webcam scene and plop in your little your webcam pictures on top of it. We can add, I believe we're going to add, what do we have? Skyscrapers. So when the game starts, we're going to have teams, their players and their heroes appear from the left and the right, or some variation of that, depending on what we can get designed to work. Similar to how HGC has the hexagons with their players come in. We found some data that we can use, so we're going to use as much as we can to make a really, really cool feature. And when we roll that out, you'll be automatically updated with it. You just click the scene for it, and it'll work exactly as it always has. So you don't have to worry about updating overlays or anything. You'll always be kept up with the latest tech on that. Checking my notes, we do have other scenes planned, such as the keys to the game scene, which is just that keys to the game scene with some text put in. We can add a little thing here that says keys to the game, and you can just type text in and it'll appear on the screen once you hit save, and it'll push it to the screen immediately. Stuff works in real time, so if I change this to OSD, boom, it updates almost instantaneously. So boom, Infernal Shrines. So lots of really, really cool things that we can do with cartography. So yeah, the big points are your scenes are always updated to everything we can provide for them. We can provide full teams to do broadcasts. For example, in the finals, Zadal will likely be with us providing statistics on the teams in real time, depending on what they draft or what executes in game. We get those cool animations when things start. For example, if I go to the draft scene, boom, slides out from the center. Really cool stuff like that. You can't bump the scenes, you can't mess it up. Super, super easy. And you get cool things like the ticker, which is like my favorite feature. And you can add your own stuff to it as well. We're not trying to make every broadcast look the same. We want to make sure that your scenes are special to you. So for example, the AFK screen, if you look down here, this BRB image can be whatever you want it to be. If you want it to be your own image with your own webcam cutout, you absolutely can do that. We want to make sure that we're allowing casters the personalization on their broadcasts that they desire, while still helping them in their production value with what we have. To set up cartography, you just need to download OBS WebSocket. So OBS WebSocket, which will be linked in the description of this video. You can't see it because it updated on Chrome. Genius. Let's make this proper. Cool, this is OBS WebSocket. You just go ahead and download this and extract it into your OBS folder, and that will allow you to hook up cartography to your OBS and allows it to interact with it. Make sure when making a cartography setup, you need to make a new scene collection. The scene collection will determine if other people can control your OBS or not. So please make sure to make a new scene collection for cartography. I have one just named cartography with these very, very simple overlays. And that will allow the web source to interact with cartography, or with your OBS. If you're off that scene collection, it won't change anything, so you don't have to worry about it. So I have one for Heroes Casting, the old version, and I have one for cartography. So make sure to do that. If you have any other questions, comments, feedback, scenes you'd like to see added, all sorts of cool stuff like that, please let me know in the Discord. If you're looking to be as part of the production team or design team, where we're building new ideas for overlays and scenes and stuff like that, or want to help out by being an in-game observer or a scene controller for our finals, because we have 2 days and 5 divisions of finals to go. That's a lot of work for us, so any help would be greatly appreciated. If any of that sounds good to you and you want to get in on this, please make sure to send me a DM on Discord or post in the casters channel where this is, and it will be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for watching.